This is video 4.3 on the Blender 2.80 course, and this one is about the gizmos and overlays here on the top right hand corner of the screen. Whenever you have something here on the scene, like I have a green plane and a blue cube and an orange ball, whenever you click on any of these, you can see how you can see the properties of those objects here, like the dimensions, which you can also adjust, like so, and the scale along an axis, or if you click on that, any scale will then affect all the others. Should actually do that, but when you hit the scale key, you can have that scaled. You also have a rotation around the x-axis and the y-axis and the z-axis here. And we have the location. You can move your object very precisely by using these three settings here. This is dependent on whatever it is that you're doing. So if you have here, like if you're doing rotation, you can see how the gizmo on top of the object changes. Now it's for moving. Whenever you move here, stuff will happen here on the top right. Rotation gives you these three balls with which you can do your rotation. And if you remember from the past episode, clicking on control will limit your rotation to 5 degrees at a time. And scale enables you to scale along any axis that you like. And transform gives you everything at one go, but I seem to never use that. Actually, it's like too complex to use. I just keep it as this, and then I use the hotkeys, which are G for grab or move, R for rotate, and scale, S for scale. And if you want to have everything back where they were, just enter 0. And here just enter 1, 1, 1. And in the dimensions, then you get 2 meters each. And the location can also be set at whatever you like. You can turn on the gizmos and see what they are by clicking here. And this one is for object visibilities. You can turn off all the meshes, for example. Or you can turn off all of these other. You can no longer see the camera by turning it off like that, or a light by turning it off like that. So this is for object type visibility. Now, this viewport overlays menu here is very important because this enables you to see different things that are related to your object at any given time. You can also turn off the 3D cursor, turn on the object info, which is here on the top left corner, or you can turn on all the other properties that you can see here. Now, if you turn on all the axes, then you can see the x-axis goes here, the y-axis goes there, and the z-axis goes there, and it's here on the overlay menus. You can also edit your scale if you want to. I don't actually see why you would want to do this, but if you want to, this is where you go for doing it. But when you go into edit mode, your overlays will change. So I will turn on edit mode by hitting on tab, and now the overlay gives me, for example, edge length, or the face area, or the edge angle. That's a 90-degree angle there. So if I grab that one vertex and I move it on the X axis, you can see how this corner here is now different from 90. It's 76 degrees now. So that is what you can see here, and all of these things are sometimes useful or not useful, but it all depends on what you want to do. I seem to be using the edge length quite a lot if I want to make sure that something is the right dimension. And also, if I want to know the distance between two vertices, by far the easiest way to do that is to add a face. Select two vertices, and with F, add a face, which of course between two vertices is just an edge, and the length of the edge is 2.24, which I can see from the overlay here. So that's what you use your overlays for. You also see some other stuff in here, which are like your viewpoint shading for wireframe, or it is by solid, which means it doesn't show any materials, or you have it as in material preview, the colors are there, but you don't see the effect of the lights. But when you go into rendered view, you can see how the lamp actually changes. If I move the lamp, you can see how the shadows move. So this is your rendering preview mode, so to speak. And because we have Eevee, you can do this. You can actually move the lamp around. But if you want to go and try on cycles, you will see that whenever you do a change, it tries to re-render the whole scene in a way that it will actually look at some point later on. But it's nice, but it's not good for regular computers. It's much better to have it as Eevee. On the other hand, if you were to turn this into a glass material, like so, in Eevee it doesn't show properly, but when you go to cycles, you can see it is actually glass. You can see the object there behind the glass when you let it run the render for you. So it's not very useful basically unless you have a very fast computer. I rarely use that. I just set it to cycles, set it to Eevee, and then turn it on as cycles when I want to. So that was your Gizmos. Here, by the way, you can set your view, top view, or right view, or left view, and you can set on orthographic. Or you can see how the camera sees the whole thing. Just toggle between the camera view and the regular view. Or you can move the view. Or you can zoom in the view. So that was Gizmos and overlays.